Well, good morning, everybody. This is Tony Frazee. I'm the benefits specialist over here with Art Jetter and Company. Hey, just want to thank everybody for joining us here for our session of Bridging Your Clients to Medicare. Today, we're pleased to have with us Todd Green from Pivot Healthcare joining us for what I'm sure to be a very informative session here. As a reminder, before I do turn it over to Todd, just a quick reminder, we want to make sure and get everybody's questions answered here, but feel free to type those in the chat or question box. We'll make sure and get the answers for you by the end of today's presentation. With that, Todd, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to you, sir.
Thank you, Tony. I appreciate the introduction there. Today, what we're going to be talking about is bridging your clients to Medicare. So we're going to talk about providing solutions to what we have found to be a very underserved market. What you're doing is you're offering them a low-cost alternative to the ACA while at the same time building your book of business for the 60-plus crowd. So, as you guys are getting ready, getting geared up for Medicare season, those of you that you come across a ton of opportunities when it comes to the Medicare space. But what we have found is this to be a very underserved market. And the reason why it's very underserved is those folks that work the Medicare market, they come across these opportunities where, they're enrolling their client in a Medicare program, but yet their spouse is only 62 or 63. So essentially they've got a couple years to Medicare. But they looking at an ACA program, and a lot of the agents that work the Medicare market, sometimes they don't want to get additional certification because you have to get certified through the ACA, and they tend to just kind of funnel that business down the road. So what I'm going to show you is there's a tremendous amount of opportunity with these folks that have a couple of years to Medicare. That's why we call it bridging your clients to Medicare strategy. So I'm going to give you basically the who, what, where, and why you would want to tap into this market. So if Medicare is your primary market, and let's say you don't want to deal with additional ACA certification, the short-term medical market allows you to be able to provide a solution for your client at a much lower cost. And the best part about it is you don't have to get certified to sell short-term medical. So this strategy is designed to help your clients transition over to Medicare. So, with the Affordable Care Act or ACA, they may be a good solution for some folks, some individuals who need health insurance coverage, and maybe they do qualify for a tax subsidy, or maybe they get a partial subsidy. Also, maybe they have a pre-existing condition that they need to be covered. But when it comes to the ACA, I tend to think of those as more cookie cutter plans, and they don't always fit everybody's healthcare needs. And when it comes to the ACA, it's very expensive because it's guaranteed issue, and also has to carry the 10 essential benefits. So obviously, one of the 10 essential benefits is pediatric dentistry as well as maternity. Obviously, somebody in the 60-plus crowd does not need maternity. So why pay for benefits that you do not need, especially when you're paying for benefits with your own money? That meaning that you're not getting a subsidy from the government to help pay your monthly premium, or maybe you are getting a partial subsidy. But at the end of the day, premium's always going to dictate buying behavior. So I'm going to review this strategy, why you want to target this audience. I'm also going to give you a high-level review of our plans, and also show you some information when it comes to getting contracted with us. If you're not already contracted with us, how easy it is to use our site. Everything is all listed online, but it's quick and easy. You literally can enroll somebody on a short-term medical program all within minutes. Also, we got a little bit of bonus information for you. If you're not familiar with who Pivot Health is, we were founded in 2015, but what we are is we're not the actual insurance carrier. What we are is a product development company. So basically what we do is we put all of the benefits together, we build all the plans, and we file them with the states, and we can actually get to handpick the carriers that we want to work with. So we operate in the alternative individual medical space. So basically, we put all the benefits together, we put the rates together, and then we handpick the carriers that we want to work with, and then we bring it to market and we file it with all the states that we're available in. So we're not the actual insurance carrier. And while we're relatively new to the alternative individual medical space, our entire team, those at the helm of Pivot Health, have been in the business for a very, very long time. They've been in the business for decades. So they're all very experienced. I myself have been in the business for almost 17 years now. So we're all very, very experienced, and we're made up of very seasoned product development experts, actuaries. So those at the helm are very, very experienced in this space. We are owned by healthcare.com. So we were purchased them in 2018. And basically what healthcare.com is they purchase Pivot Health for our proprietary short-term medical or alternative individual medical programs, based on the experience of those at the helm at Pivot Health. And healthcare.com is marketing our programs. They use proprietary AI technology to become one of the leading insurtech disruptors in the alternative individual medical space. Now, what makes Pivot Health so unique? So Pivot Health, we operate in the alternative individual medical space. So we provide products and we build products to target niche individual markets. So when it comes to our platform, we've got short-term medical, we've got fixed benefit options, we have, of course, your ancillary, dental, vision, and supplemental programs. Also, what is a big differentiator for us is technology. So our technology, when it comes to our quoting and enrolling site, we built that with the consumer in mind. So we want to make it super easy for them, but we also wanted to make it super easy for the agents to be able to navigate. So you literally can quote and enroll somebody within 5 minutes. And also going back to one of my initial statements is, when it comes to the short-term medical market and the fixed benefit market, you don't have to have certification, so you're providing a very easy solution. So the nice piece to our platform is it can be as hands-on as you want or as hands-off as you want. So if you want to be more hands-on, we give you the ability to be able to create customized quotes. You can email your client quotes, and that way you can create something customized for them, put a whole benefits package together, email that to them, and then they can enroll themselves. Or if you're more hands-off, we actually build you a unique URL link that is co-branded, and you can put that on an agency website if you've got a website, and you can direct folks to go to your website, and then folks can actually quote and enroll themselves all within minutes, or you can even forward the link to your client, and then they can quote enroll themselves again all within minutes. So super easy, in other words. Also, when it comes to service, when it comes to our agent support, every agent that gets contract with us through Art Jetter and Company, you get an actual dedicated account executive. That's me. So I'm here to help you when it comes to the day-to-day service, when it comes to product questions, product positioning. So I'm here to help you, and that's an additional layer. In addition to Tony. Tony is great working with our products, and he's very knowledgeable, but I'm also there to help you as well. And when it comes to our customer service, when it comes to our insureds, they give us a 4.6 stars out of 5 when it comes to our Trustpilot reviews. I want to touch briefly on some additional opportunity. The role of the insurance agent is more important than ever, and it's really and truly important to have the right tools to provide solutions for your clients and counsel their best interest. When it comes to the alternative individual medical space, there's a ton of opportunity out there. So, you've got short-term medical programs, you've got fixed benefit programs, but these are all designed to be additional tools that you can utilize. And, because basically, if you're not showing these type of products to your clients, somebody else will. So with the short-term medical and fixed benefit programs, those can be a better value than an ACA program for some people. Of course, like I said earlier, maybe you have folks that do need a guaranteed issue medical product, or maybe they need a pre-existing condition um, covered. But the short-term medical and fixed benefit options can be a better solution. So you've got a ton of opportunity, and one of them, and I'm going to touch on some of this other opportunity, but you've got what's called the gig economy. There's a ton of opportunity. You've got 59 million Americans that were freelancing, or they were self-employed in 2020. That has gone up exponentially, especially since the pandemic and people leaving their corporate world, their corporate jobs. But what does that mean? That means that those folks that are sole proprietors, they're in business for themselves, they're self-employed, they don't have that traditional employer-employee relationship. So that means that they are going to need medical coverage. And a lot of the times, if you're a sole proprietor, your income is your income is tied in with your personal, and your business income is tied in with your personal. And a lot of the times, that means that you don't qualify for a subsidy, and maybe you get a partial subsidy. But ACA is very, very expensive. So the short-term medical and fixed benefit market can be a great value for those folks, because it's going to be a lot less expensive. Also, another huge market, which is what we're going to talk about today, is the 60+ crowd. Again, for those folks that have a couple years to Medicare, they want to pay for benefits that are going to be more relevant to their market segment. Again, they don't need pediatric dentistry. They don't need maternity coverage. So the short-term medical market, fixed benefit market can be a better solution for them. And of course, you've got some other opportunities as well. We do children only plans, for those grandparents that have to provide coverage for their grandchildren. We can do those children only plans. Also college students, student athletes, and of course, these are also designed to be a COBRA alternative. But with that said, the short-term medical and fixed benefit market are not for everyone, as they're not guaranteed issue, and also there are pre-existing condition limitations and exclusions. But that's what keeps the premiums a lot lower than ACA programs. Now, we provide products for all stages of life. So, students, those under 25, they're looking for lower premiums. They're looking for something with everyday coverage, such as office visit copays. Our programs do cover college athletes if you work that market at all. You've got folks that are in between 26 to 35. They're just getting started. They're especially if they're in the business for themselves, their business income is tied in with their individual income, and that can make them ineligible for any subsidies from the government. So they are also looking for affordable premiums and also everyday items to be covered. You've got your 36 to 45 crowd. They're looking for, robust programs at that point. They're doing better financially, and they're looking for more robust options. 46 to 55, they're looking for programs with wellness coverage. Also, we've got options with supplemental accident riders that can be added to plans. And then, of course, your 56 to 60+ crowd, which is what we're going to talk about today. So we provide coverages for all stages of life. Now, here's our overall product portfolio. So again, we operate in the alternative individual medical space. We've got our short-term medical programs, our short-term medical options. We've got, depending on what their budget is, we've got an option for them. So if they're looking for something low cost, we've got that. If they're looking for something high end, we have that as well. And we've made a lot of enhancements to our existing short-term medical programs. So, we were getting a lot of feedback from folks that their clients were looking for programs with expanded wellness benefits. So, because that's another cost containment method of why short-term medical is a lower cost alternative, because it does not include a lot of wellness benefits. So we've added a ton of wellness benefits, automatic wellness benefits built into our programs, which I'm going to highlight here in some future slides, that no other carrier is offering right now. We also have options with office visit copays, options that utilize national networks. But we also have our open access plans where any provider, any facility can submit a claim and it will be paid accordingly. We have our new fixed benefit programs, our fixed indemnity options. This really and truly gives folks a really truly first dollar coverage, as our options have no deductibles and no co-insurance before benefits are paid out. Basically, if you're unfamiliar with that program, it provides a fixed, predictable dollar amount in the event of an illness or an accident if they land in the hospital. And plus, there's a whole listing of other qualifying events that they can get cash on. Our programs are blended, so there's not a separate benefit for sickness. There's not a separate benefit for accident. Our options have no overall lifetime maximum. We, of course, have your ancillary options, which can be added to a short-term or fixed benefit programs very easily, literally clicking a box to complete the benefits package. And if you're more hands-on, as I mentioned, you can build your clients a customized quote. You can add the dental and vision. You can add a supplemental program, literally clicking a box. So you're essentially emailing them a shopping cart, and then your clients can enroll from that email, and you've completed the entire benefits package, and you get credit for it. You're the agent of record. So we have our dental and vision options. We have options with no waiting periods, progressive benefits, so those co-insurance percentages increase over time. With our plans that have no waiting periods, that includes major services, and our major services actually include implants. And the vision component is set up through VSP. VSP is one of the top vision provider networks in the United States. That can be sold as a standalone or as an add-on to a short-term plan. Now we also have our supplemental program, which is, in a nutshell, a packaged critical illness, accident, hospital indemnity, AD&D program that is guaranteed issue. And again, that can be added to a short-term or sold as a standalone product. So that's our overall product portfolio. Again, we just operate in the alternative individual medical space, but we can provide those solutions that your clients are looking for. But now for the nitty-gritty. Let's talk about that pre-Medicare market. You know, as agents, you come across 60+ opportunities more than you might think. And I'm going to get into those specific opportunities here shortly. But you guys are in the business of solving problems. You're enabling your clients to pay for benefits that are relative to their market segment and not paying for benefits that will not be used. So I know I keep harping on this, but you know, at the 60+ mark, you don't need maternity coverage. You don't need pediatric dentistry. So we call this bridging your clients to Medicare strategy. Again, at this age, you know, those folks that are at this age, 60+, ACA plans are extremely expensive. For example, you've got a 63-year-old. They left the corporate world. They were looking at an ACA program, and you know that ACA without a subsidy was going to be $860 a month. So close to, you know, $900 to $1,000 a month. Typically, we see it's a high deductible HMO type of program. So that was going to be a huge expense for that person. Even if they qualified for a partial subsidy, that premium was going to be $700 a month. A short-term medical premium with a large deductible that the person was comfortable with was close to 50% less than an ACA plan. And this short-term medical program, I'm not talking about a bare bones plan. This short-term medical program was open access, so there's no network restrictions. It's actually a 100% plan. So once deductible is met, the plan pays 100% of covered services. It actually included a copay drug card. And with the savings over an ACA plan, they were able to purchase our Latitude supplemental program, which was that accident critical illness combo that I just mentioned, to help pay for that larger deductible in the event of an accident or critical illness. Now, when we're talking about the opportunity, who makes up the pre-Medicare market? By 2030, 80 million Americans will be age 65. 80 million Americans will be age 65 or older. So with that said, that ties into the whole baby boomer generation, which I'm sure you've heard this statistic before. You've got 10,000 people turning 65 every day. Well, the same thing can be said for those turning 60, 61, 62, so on and so forth. So you've got a ton of opportunity of those folks that may be in business for themselves, and they're again looking for lower cost alternatives to the ACA. You've got your early retirees. 9% of Americans aged 50 to 64 are enrolled in a non-group program. So, again, maybe they're in business for themselves, and their income is tied in with their business income is tied in with their individual income. So that disqualifies them from an ACA subsidy. And if they're looking to retire early, you better believe that they're not going to qualify for a subsidy. You also have your Medicare recipient. How many times you've been sitting across from your client that you're enrolling in a Medicare program, but their spouse has only they're not quite 65. So they've got a couple years to Medicare. And then, of course, you've got folks that are delaying their retirement because their younger spouse would be uninsured. So you've got a ton of opportunity with this pre-Medicare market. And again, I said this earlier, we found the pre-Medicare market to be very underserved. Being underserved because a lot of the Medicare agents, they don't want to have to deal with ACA at all, so they just tend to refer that business down the road. But with the short-term medical market and our platform, we make it super easy for you to be able to provide those clients solutions while also making money at the same time. So why would you want to target the pre-Medicare market? Why is this important? Well, number one, you're improving your lifetime value. You're providing benefits to their needs. Again, somebody at 60 plus, they don't need maternity. And you're providing these programs at a lower cost. And with the savings, you're able to complete the benefits package by adding those ancillary programs that I mentioned. So you can add the dental vision, you can add the supplemental gap program. So you're completing the benefits package while making money at the same time. Typically, short-term medical does pay higher commissions than ACA programs, assuming that ACA comp is even being paid. I know a lot of the carriers during the special enrollment periods throughout the year, outside of an open enrollment, they're not even paying commissions. And the nice piece is that you can sell short-term medical and fixed benefit programs all year long. You don't have to wait till open enrollment. So this can be a great income for you. Think about it. If you've got a short-term medical premium, it's $400 a month at 15% times 12. That can be a decent commission every month. And then if you add additional ancillary programs, that's additional comp for you. And also you can qualify for bonuses through us. Also, you're building your book of business. So the best leads are your own book of business. You're helping your clients transition to Medicare at a lower cost. Insurance is, in my early days as in the insurance business, I was an insurance agent, and insurance was a pipeline business. So you want to keep that pipeline going, you want to keep that pipeline building. So with that said, you're building your book of business and you're providing coverage for the entire household, and you're also setting yourself apart from the competition. As I said earlier, if you're not going to show it to them, somebody else will. So you're again setting yourself apart from the competition. So by doing this, now you have a free Medicare lead when they're about to turn 65. So again, your book of business, you've got all these clients that are getting ready to turn 65. So now at this point, you've got a Medicare lead that is your own book of business that you don't have to pay for. So essentially you're decreasing your Medicare lead acquisition costs. Now, what exactly is the strategy for the pre-Medicare market? So for those folks that have a couple years before they turn 65, So this strategy is you're providing flexible coverage options. So you've got minimum of 30 days to 364 days of coverage with the option to do extended duration options if it's available in the state. But this allows you to stack plans on top of each other. So again, those extended durations, you're stacking plans on top of each other. And those are the cornerstone of the bridging your clients to Medicare. Is the perfect scenario is that 62-year-old, you put them on a 3-year plan, and then when they are ready to turn 65, there's your Medicare lead right then and there. So with the stacking of the plans, you're stacking 364-day options on top of each other. So when one policy ends, the other one picks up automatically. So there's no break in coverage. You're protecting your clients for those 2 to 3 years prior to them enrolling in Medicare at a much lower cost than an ACA program. And again, you're providing benefits relative to their situation. If you're worried about networks, we have a solution for that, because we have a whole slew of products, a whole slew of short-term medical options where there is no network. Any provider, any facility in the United States can submit claims and it will be paid accordingly. And of course, I'm going to review all of that when I go over some of the plan options and how all of that works. So with that said, those extended duration options. So again, you've got your 62, 63-year-old, those that have a few years prior to enrolling in Medicare, you're protecting them for that set period of time. So you've got 2 to 3 years available in most states. You only have to go through underwriting just the initial time. So you don't have a new application each time they transition into their new coverage period. When one policy ends, the next one picks up automatically. So that way you've got no gap in coverage. Again, no new underwriting. Also, there's no new waiting periods that are going to apply to the second and third term. Copays, if your client is chosen a copay plan, we give you a set number of copays per person per term. Those copays do reset when you go into your new coverage period. Also, we don't do a lifetime max, we do a term max. So the term max does reset. The flip side, your deductibles and co-insurance maximums do restart each time you go into your new coverage period. Now, the extended duration must be selected at time of enrollment, at time of quoting. You can't add it later on down the road. You would need to cancel a policy and then re-enroll on an extended duration plan, which is super easy to do on our website. Now, with the 60 plus crowd, just to give you some information, we year over year, we see our 60 plus block of business grow exponentially. So it seems to be growing at a much higher rate. So this tells us a couple things. So this tells us, number one, that folks are looking in this category, the 60 plus crowd are looking for lower cost alternatives to the ACA. They've worked hard all of their life. And they're at the point where they can breathe and they can retire, and they don't want to retire because they're afraid of losing their benefits. And also, they look at the ACA price tag and it's extremely expensive. So they're looking for lower cost alternatives. The second thing that we're seeing is that there's kind of the misconception that folks in the 60 plus crowd, they're unhealthy. And of course, with short-term medical and fixed benefit options, you do have to pass through medical underwriting in order to be able to qualify. Now, with that said, our underwriting is simplified. So it's accept or reject on the spot. As long as they can answer no to our medical questions, then they pass through our underwriting. So with the fact that our block of business, our 60 plus block of business is growing, that tells us that folks in this age category are able to pass through our underwriting. So they're a lot healthier than you think. Now, I want to give you some premium examples. Now, this is with our top 2 competitors. So just to show you how competitive we are in this space, up against our top 2 competitors, We've got a couple options now. We've got our one of our top plan options. It's 100% coverage after deductibles met. It's open access, so any provider, any facility can submit a claim, and it's paid accordingly. Coverage up to $1 million per term. Copay drug card. Low deductible. Once the deductible, as I said, it's a 100% plan. So once that 5,000 is met, then the plan pays 100% of covered services. In comparison to our top two competitors, which in my opinion, the plans aren't nearly as robust as ours, you can see our rate is super competitive up against those. Now this example, it's a Texas female, age 62. So as you can see that our rates are super competitive in this space. And also not to mention, our program does include free and unlimited telemedicine. Now looking at, let's talk comp at this point. So if you're looking at that premium, the average premium on one of our plans is going to be $625.64. And this is a 2-year plan. Average commission, street commission at 15%. Now the average persistency that we're seeing is around 18%. So 15% annualized commission for that first year, you're looking at almost $1,200. Second year, you're looking at a 6-month comp is $563. You combine that with a bonus. And also we do a premium kicker. If it hits a certain dollar figure, the monthly premium, you're looking at $1,800, almost $1,900 for that one client. That's significantly higher than any of your ACA comp. Now I want to go over, just give you a high level review of our short-term plans, just so that way you can see what kind of options we have. We do have a lot of options, but our options are designed to target specific audiences and what their budget level is and what they're looking for. So when it comes to, we're going to just talk about these really quickly, but all of these can be written up to 2 and 3 years on an extended duration. Again, that's the cornerstone of bridging your clients to Medicare. So we've got our core plans. The target there is for folks looking for everyday items to be covered with a low cost premium. It's got low deductibles. It does have access to the First Health Network. It does include some preventive and wellness benefits. It does include office visit copays. So again, those everyday items to be covered. It does include some prescription drug benefits. But in order to give it those everyday items with a low premium, it does have some limited hospital benefits. So it's good for folks looking for low premiums with rich first dollar coverage. We have our classic series. You've got within that series, you've got some really good options, low cost as well as rich high-end options. All of those plans now include wellness benefits and preventive benefits. You also have options with office visit copays and prescription drug benefits. So that series in itself has got some good options. Those are also open access, so that means that any provider, any facility can submit a claim and it'll be paid accordingly. So there's no network. We have our Epic series, which is our 100% plans. It also offers preventive and wellness coverage. It also includes some optional benefits such as a copay drug card, as well as a optional accident rider that would give you a $5,000 or $10,000 accident benefit. You do have 2 versions. You have a base version, which is there's no network, and then you have, and of course is dependent on the state, but you do have the Epic PPO option, which is going to give you access to the Cigna network. Cigna network is one of the top networks in the United States, but you do have 2 plan versions. But those are really good options, especially for families. If you've got multiple people on a single policy, the family deductible is 2 times the individual versus 3. And then we have our quantum plans. Our quantum plans were designed for your your established entrepreneur, those folks that are, they make a lot of money, but they still don't want to pay the full cost of an ACA program. So that was designed for somebody looking for rich benefits. You've got access to the Cigna network. It includes some preventive and wellness benefits. It also includes a supplemental accident benefit baked right into the plan. It's part of the premium. It's not an additional rider. It is baked right into the plan. So it's designed for somebody looking for a rich short-term medical program. You've got a copay option, and then you have a high deductible option as well. So that's really high level on our short-term plans. But moral of the story is, depending on what your client is looking for, we've got an option for them. And it can be overwhelming, but don't forget to utilize your resources. Tony's a great when it comes to our product platform, so he can certainly guide you. And then I'm also available for you as well. Now, I talked about some of the updates. So if you are familiar with Pivot Health and our short-term programs, we decided that we wanted to add some wellness benefits or make some really great enhancements to our short-term program. And we did this to our options without a network. And I'm gonna discuss why our open access plans are such a great win for your client. But with that said, with us utilizing reference-based pricing in the program, that keeps the premiums lower, which allows us to add these enhancements without increasing the monthly premium other than just trend. So with these enhancements, now we're rolling it out in certain states, but our first wave was in Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Nebraska, Michigan, Indiana, Tennessee, Texas. Of course, we're going to be rolling out additional states over the next few weeks. But these enhancements, number one is every single classic plan now includes $200 towards that wellness office visit. That is something that is not covered, typically not covered by any short-term plan, by any short-term medical company. So that is really and truly first dollar coverage. Also, if you're talking families, some of these enhancements also include routine child services benefits, which typically not covered by short term. Childhood immunizations are automatically covered covered at 100%. We do include some additional coverages for screening, so mammograms, pap smears, colorectal, and prostate screenings. Those are covered. They are subject to the deductible, however, but those still are a covered service. And if you're talking reference-based pricing, they are subject to that reference-based repricing, which I'm going to review. Also, mental illness, both inpatient or outpatient, are covered. We also provide enhancements for substance abuse. Now, of course, again, it's short-term medical, so there are pre-existing condition limitations and exclusions. But if something develops while they're on the plan, these plans now include that type of coverage. Also, we did some changes to our outpatient prescription drugs. So with our plans that have copay drug cards attached to them, we eliminated the tier 2 and 3 deductible, and now it's a $10, $35, and $70 copay. Now there are some limitations on the drug card. So if you're talking a 6-month plan, it's capped at $1,000. If you are talking a 364-day plan, it's capped at $2,000. And if you're talking extended duration, those do reset every time you go into your new coverage period. We also offered or added some joint, neck, and spine injury coverage, hospice coverage. Kidney stones are now a covered expense. Organ transplant benefits are now benefit up to $10,000. So all of these enhancements that we've added did not increase the premium based on our reference-based pricing model. And now let's talk really quickly about what makes Pivot Health, our short-term medical products, so unique. As you saw, we've got lots of different options designed to cater to what their budget is. We've got extended duration options. So again, that's protecting your client for a set number of years. And then again, that's the cornerstone to bridging your clients to Medicare. Preventive and wellness benefits now on every single plan. We have options that utilize national networks. We also have options that are open access where there is no networks. We do simplified underwriting. So it's accept or reject on the spot. As long as they can answer no to our medical questions, then they pass through our underwriting. With no rate ups, we don't do a tobacco rate. We will take somebody that is got controlled hypertension. We also will take a type 2 diabetic as long as it's controlled by diet and exercise. Also, part of those enhancements is we don't need a social security number, and that the fact is when it comes to our residency requirement, it went from 12 months to 4 months. So as long as they have been in the United States 4 months prior to the effective date of the policy, we will take them. Every single one of our plans now include, our open access plans include a partnership with Point Health. Point Health is a healthcare navigation service, helping consumers be a smarter consumer when it comes to medical services. It also includes bill negotiation services. And that also is a great tool for folks to be able to utilize if they're looking for a doctor that's going to accept the reference-based pricing. We have plans developed for niche markets to set you apart from your competition. So we will cover student athletes. That's typically an exclusion when it comes to short-term medical. We do child-only policies all the way down to 6 months of age, and you can include multiple children on a single policy. We also target the pre-Medicare market that we just talked about, and why you would want to target that market, and the benefits and the solutions that you can provide for those folks. Every single one of our plans include free and unlimited telemedicine. That's not a separate rider. It's included in every single one of our plans. They can use that as much as they want. They can also use it for dermatology. Now, I want to talk about networks really quickly. So we've got some network options. So when it comes to our classic series and out of network for all of our programs, our PPO programs, that is, we utilize what's called reference-based pricing. So that gives the ability for anybody for any provider, any facility in the US to submit a claim. So they don't have a network that they have to worry about. So what is reference-based pricing? Providers are paid up to 125% of Medicare allowable at the doctor's office. And then at the facility, we pay 150% of Medicare allowable. So reference-based pricing means that we're utilizing a percentage of the Medicare fee schedule as a method for our claims allowance or reimbursement. Now, the provider and the facilities should be filing the claims. The ID cards do come with step-by-step instructions for the provider to follow. So just like regular PPO programs, the provider facility files the claim. It's going to be repriced based on that percentage of Medicare fee schedule. Now, the average discount that we're seeing is almost 70% off of full retail. You know, if you compare that with a PPO discount, PPO discounting lies somewhere between 30 and 50% off of for the full charge. Our average is almost 70. Also, our programs include balance bill protection. So that protects the member from owing anything above and beyond what that discounted amount is. So when it's repriced, and if the doctor decides to turn around and say, I want to charge whatever I want to charge full price, since it's a covered service, it's going to be covered under the balance bill protection. So if they do receive a balance bill, all the member has to do is send that in to our administrator. Our administrator takes it from there. It goes to a negotiation team, and that team will negotiate with the provider or the facility on the member's behalf. If they cannot come to an agreement, Pivot picks up the difference. So the member only owes what they owe, and they're not going to owe anything above and beyond what that discounted amount is when it comes to those covered services. The patient Point Health Advocacy service included in all of our open access plans. Again, that allows folks to be a smarter consumer when it comes to their medical services, as they can give them cost estimates when it comes to procedures. They can see if they need help finding a doctor accepting the reference-based pricing, they can utilize that to help them find a doctor or a facility. So it can really be a great win for folks. And then when it comes to our network options, we have plans that utilize the Cigna network, which is our Epic PPO and Quantum plans. Cigna network, you've got over 1 million providers nationally, and you've got over 6,300 hospitals and facilities. They have access to great PPO discounting, almost 50% is the average, but the Epic PPO and Quantum plans utilize the Cigna network. We also have our core plans tied to the First Health network, which is another large national network. Now, why is reference-based pricing such a great win, such a great choice for your clients? So number one is there's no PPO access fees built into the monthly premium. So you're not paying for a Cigna network, you're not paying for a First Health network. Also, with that average discounting almost being 70% off of full retail, that means less out of pocket for your client when it comes to those covered services being subject to the deductible. Then the balance bill protection. So you only pay what you owe. So if it's a covered service and it's subject to the deductible and it has access to that great discounting, and if the provider facility decides that they want to balance bill the member, they're protected. So it's additional safety net for the client. And then the Point Health navigation, healthcare navigation and bill negotiation service is another great tool for folks to be able to utilize. I want to talk about our ancillary programs really quickly. These can be added to a short term, or it can be sold as a standalone product, because maybe you do have a situation where a client needs to be able to enroll in a guaranteed issue medical product, so they need that ACA guaranteed issue product. You can sell these two products as a standalone to be able to offer some additional products to your client. When it comes to our dental, we partner with Renaissance, which is a great national network. Now, incidentally, our dental plans are any dentist plan, so they can certainly go to any dentist that they want to go to. We have options with no waiting periods, including major services, and our major services do include implants, which you typically don't see. Progressive benefits, where those benefits increase over time. All of our plans include routine cleanings paid at 100%. The vision component is set up through VSP. VSP, hands down, is a top vision provider network. It's a household name when it comes to vision insurance, and we give you a very generous $150 frame or contact lens allowance. You can complete the benefits package with our Latitude Gap plan, which is a guaranteed issue accident, critical illness, hospital indemnity, and AD&D program, all combined into one product. You have a $2,500 benefit or a $5,000 benefit. Cash payments are made directly to the member, but that can be sold as a standalone or as an add-on to a short-term plan. Now I want to touch again on Point Health, which is included in all of our open access short-term plans. But this helps clients become a smarter consumer when it comes to medical services, so that can give them cost estimates on procedures. It can show you different facilities and what they're charged, so it can give you that tool to be able to be a smarter consumer when it comes to your medical services. So it can search for hospitals and also pharmacies, surgical centers. It can also help you find a doctor when it comes to doctors utilizing reference-based pricing. It can help you transfer medical records and also contact and schedule appointments for you. Then you can also use the bill negotiation service. So after all your benefits have been paid by either the fixed benefit plan or also the short-term medical option, and let's say your out-of-pocket is still too high, you can utilize this bill negotiation service to help lower your out-of-pocket costs. All right, now really quickly, I want to do a quick demo. I know we only got a few minutes left, but I do want to do show you a quick demo on being able to provide your clients a better experience when it comes to their open access plans. So these are some additional enhancements that we've made, but also I want to show you how, if you're not familiar with Pivot Health, how we're set up and how you can really make things a lot easier for your client. So when you log into your agent resource center, you of course can build you can view your book of business. You can also build a quote, email that to them. But for those folks that are a little bit weary of the open access or reference-based pricing plans, we actually included some helpful tools that you can utilize to help your client have a better experience when it comes to those open access plans. So with that said, you have tools that you can utilize. So, and this is loaded into the member portal, but this will give them step-by-step instructions that they can actually print this out, and this will actually they can show this to the provider or the facility. It spells it all out for them, gives them phone numbers, gives them the website that they can go to. But this type of tool that you can give to your clients, it's already loaded into their member portal. But with that said, this can help them have a better experience when it comes to the open access plan. So it spells it all out for them, but this is a great tool for them to be able to utilize. And of course, you've got some other options in here. If you work other states, you certainly can view your state availability chart. You can also see which states have certain rewrite rules. You can see what durations are available. So this is another great tool for you to be able to utilize. And of course, you can download brochures, customizable marketing pieces. But most importantly, you can email a quote to your client, build a quote, customized quote for them, and then they can enroll right from that email. So it makes it super easy for them. Now we're going to talk really quickly about bonus information. We have our top selling states: Texas, Florida, Georgia. Those are our top states, and of course you got Nebraska's in here, and some other Midwestern states as well. Arizona is another great state for us. But speaking of bonus, we will be launching a Q4 bonus, so stay tuned for that. If you're already contracted with us, you will get a communication of that Q4 bonus. But for those folks that are new to Pivot, we're going to pay you for your first 3 applications, and maybe you've been contracted with us for a while, but you've never written anything, or maybe you haven't written anything within the last 12 months. We do have a sort of it could be a reactivation bonus for you as well. But for your new agents, we're going to pay you for your first 3 applications. So that concludes our presentation. Let's open up the floor for questions. Let me go back here, give you some contact information. But let's open up the floor for questions. Let's see if we've got anything in the chat box.
You bet. Todd, again, thank you very much for today's presentation there and co-piloting this. Do have a couple things in here from what I can see. Looks like one question was asked earlier on, do these plans cover doctor visits and urgent care?
Yes. So all of our plans are going to cover doctor visits and urgent care. Now you do have options where those services for an injury or a illness would be subject to the deductible, but we also have copay options. So you have short-term plans that can give you a $30 copay for your primary, 60 for a specialist or urgent care. And we do give you 3, and that is per person per term, and it's just a total of 3. So whether you use all three at urgent care or mixture, we do give you a total of three. And if you're talking extended durations, those three copays do reset when you go into your new coverage period.
Good enough. All right. And then wanted to check to see if there was any other questions from anybody here today before we close it up here. Give me just a few more moments here. All right. Well, it looks like we might be done with the questions here, Todd, for the moment there. If anybody comes up with anything here later on or prefers more one-on-one, of course, as you can see it by the slide there, you can certainly give me a call here at the toll-free number 800-228-0008 or email me at health@jitter.com. Obviously, Todd's information is there too, so feel free if you have any questions, you can contact us there. Todd, again, thank you very much for co-piloting today's session there, and a big thank you for everybody for joining us. Todd, unless you got anything else, sir, I'm going to go ahead and switch off and say thank you to everybody.
I have nothing further. Do want to thank everybody for taking time out of their busy day to join us, and appreciate your time. And if you need anything, just let us know.
All right. Thanks again, Todd.
Thank you.